This is Mrs. Naslund, and today we'll be talking about Unit 2, Lesson 4, Perimeter and Area of a Rectangle. Our learning targets for today are, I can demonstrate understanding of perimeter and area, and I can explore general methods for finding perimeter and area of a rectangle. The vocab that we'll be talking about today are unit, perimeter, length, width, area, and square unit. All right, so we're going to start with a quick review of perimeter and area. Perimeter and area are measured with different kinds of units. Units of distance or length for perimeter and square units for area. Perimeter is the total distance around the outside of a figure. So when we measure perimeter, we're measuring the outside of the shape. This rectangle has 4 units along its length and 3 units long its width. To find the perimeter, you add the distance of all the sides. So if we wanted to find the perimeter of this rectangle, we're going to go ahead and we have 3 here, and since we know that this is congruent, we know that this is also 3. And since this is 4, then we know this is 4, and we're going to add all of the sides together. So we're going to say 4 plus 3, which is 5, 6, 7, plus 4 more, 8, 9, 10, 11, plus 4 more, 12, 13, 14. So the perimeter around that rectangle is 14 units. Right now we don't know what units they are. Area, on the other hand, is the total number of square units inside a figure. For rectangles, area can be seen as an array of squares. This rectangle is an array of 4 squares across the length and 3 squares down the width. To find the area, you can multiply length times width. So it's the same rectangle, but now we're trying to find the area inside the shape instead of the outside. And to find area, we multiply the length times the width, or the height. So we're going to say 3 times 4, which is 12, and we would label it square units because it's the area. All right, now adapt the formula. How can you change the equations for the area and perimeter of rectangles to apply to squares? Well, if we take a look here, for perimeter, we could say 4 times the side, and that makes sense because in a square, every side is exactly the same. So in this case, they're all 3. So to find the perimeter, I could say 4 times 3, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. 4 times 3 would give us the perimeter. So in this case, the perimeter is 12 units. For the area, it's very similar. We just say side times side, just like we did in the rectangle. So 3 times 3 would give us 9. So the area is 9 square units of this square. All right, on this page, we're going to practice with perimeter and area. The directions say, for each pair of rectangles, tell which one shows units of perimeter and find the perimeter. Tell which one shows the units of area and find the area. Use 1 inch as the unit of length in all of your answers. So I'll give you a hint right away. The perimeter ones are the ones that have the little hash marks around the outside. And the area is the one that's showing the inside, all of the squares on the inside, which makes sense because we're looking at square units versus the perimeter. And each of these count as 1. So we're going to go ahead and just count them. And I'll show you how to do one, and then I'll have you practice one. So we're going to count how many are here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units here. And they say they equal 6 inches based on that. And here we have 1, 2, 3. So if I was going to find the perimeter, I know if this is 6, that this is 6 right across from it. And if this is 3, then this is 3. And again, to find the perimeter, we're going to add all the way around. So 6 plus 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus 6 plus 3 again, so 9 plus 9 is 18 inches. 18 inches. we can reveal the answer here in a second, is the perimeter. And I oftentimes like to label perimeter with a P. So I'll say P equals, the perimeter equals 18 inches. And now we're going to do the area. So the area equals, and we're going to look here. And again, it should be, I think it's the same, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6 and 3. And remember to find the area. We're going to do the length times the width. So we're going to say 6 times 3, which ends up equaling 18. And then we're going to put square inches, because whenever we do area, it's always in square units. And in this case, it was inches. So 18 square inches. And let's see if we are right. Click on it. Yep, we've got perimeter is 18 inches and the area is 18 square inches. All right, I'm going to have you try to do 16 on your own. I want you to go ahead and first work on figuring out what is the perimeter of this shape right here. All right, let's see how you did. So first, I always count how many units I have. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side. And on this side we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 on this side. And then again, I just label it. You add them together, and let's see what you got. All right, when I add them all together, I end up with 22 inches. So perimeter is 22 inches. And then now I want you to go ahead and work on finding the area of this figure. So right here, go ahead and work on finding the area of this figure. All right, so again, we know that this is 4 and this is 7. And when we go to find area, we're going to multiply the length times the width. So 7 times 4, which ends up giving us 28 square inches. Can't forget the square part because it's the area. All right, let's see and check and see how we did. All right, 22 inches and 28 square inches. Great work. All right, on this one, it says we're calculating the area and the perimeter again, but it asks you to actually draw in the lines, and you can see the lines are already drawn in here for us. But even if the lines weren't here, I want to show you that you could calculate the area and the perimeter without those lines being there. They're nice because you can always double check and count, but it's not needed. If this is just a rectangle and all this was gone, this is the area one, so we're going to do area here. To do the area, it's just that length times that width again. So 9 times 2, which would give us that 18 square in this case. They have miles, MI, okay? And you don't need to have those lines there to calculate that. Same goes with the perimeter. If it gives you this, you can make your assumption that this is 9 and this is 2, and you can go ahead and do your calculations and figure out, okay, 9 plus 9 is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, that we have a perimeter of 22 miles. So you don't necessarily have to have those lines drawn to go ahead and do the calculations. All right, we'll have you do one more practice. Go ahead and work on finding the area of this shape right here, number 19. We'll see how you did. So again, for the area, you're going to do length times width. So you're going to say 4 times 4, which should have given you a total of 16 square meters. And then now go ahead and calculate the perimeter of this shape. All right. When you calculate the perimeter, you've got 4 here, 4 here, 4 here, and 4 here. You're going to add all those together. Or you could say, because it's a perfect square, 4 times 4, that would work too. We got 16 meters. So sometimes it works out they're the same, but not always. All right. All right, we're going to work through this one together. It says, compare perimeter and area. On centimeter grid paper, draw every possible rectangle that has an area of 20 square centimeters and sides whose lengths are whole centimeters. Label the lengths of two adjacent sides for each rectangle. So basically, we have to think about how we can get to 20 square centimeters, the area. We're going to draw every rectangle we can think of. It's showing us that there's 3 different possibilities. And I think the easy way to think about this is to remember to get area, you have to think about what you multiply, because we multiply 2 numbers to get to 20. So what are the different ways we can multiply numbers to get to 20? So the first one that jumps into my head is a 1 by 20 rectangle. A 1 by 20 rectangle. All right, so here's the 1 by 20 rectangle. That's the length that we found here. It's a 1 by 20. We have to calculate the perimeter. Well, we know that this is 20 and this is 20, so that gives us 40 plus 1 and another 1. So we get a perimeter of 42 centimeters. All right. Now we're going to think of another numbers that we can multiply together to get to 20. And what jumps out to me is 2 times 10. So I'll go ahead and draw that rectangle for you. All right, so here's my 2 by 10. And then we have to calculate the perimeter of this one again as well. So we know this is 2. We know this is 10. And we'll go ahead and add up all the sides. So 10 plus 10 is 20 plus 4. I add those two together, gives me a total of 24. So we had a 2 by 10 with a perimeter of 24. All right, the last thing I could think of we could multiply to get 20 is a 4 by 5 or a 5 by 4. So go ahead and draw that rectangle for us. All right, so here's our 4 by 5. So we've got 5 up here, then we have 4, 5, and 4, and we want to add all those up to get the perimeter. So 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 4 is 14, plus 4 more is 18. So we have the 4 by 5 with a perimeter of 18 centimeters. All right, it says find and label the perimeter of each rectangle. Okay, we did that. Rectangles that have the same blank can have different what? Well, rectangles that have the same area, all of these rectangles have an area of 20, can have different perimeters. So they're not always the same, and that's a really big takeaway. The area can be the same, but the perimeters can be different. You'll see that all these different shaped ones, the areas are the same, but the perimeters are different. So today we talked about how to find the area and a perimeter of a rectangle. Great work.